Hello students and welcome back to our Spot That English Error video series. In this 22nd video in this ever-expanding series, there are a lot of English errors out there to solve in the world. But in this video, we're going to focus specifically on fixing newspaper article errors. And this is from a real newspaper article. So as you know, it's good to read articles in the target language, in this case English, to help your knowledge not just of grammar, but vocabulary, sentence structure, and how to write a good article on your own, not just for the newspaper, but in general. So we're going to look at a paragraph, not the whole article, but a small paragraph to fix, because there's a few errors grammatically that you should not have when it comes to writing formally in English, especially for a newspaper article that's published for thousands or millions of people. So my name is Ben with English from A to Z in our Spot That English Error series, and let's get started. So what is wrong with this newspaper article? And like I said, yes, this is a real newspaper article online, yet I will not divulge which newspaper it came from to protect the privacy of the institution and organization. So I'm not going to say which one it's from. You might be able to guess just in the general city or area it is. But I mainly want to focus on fixing the article because the editor did not catch these errors. And you should. As you're learning English, you can spot these English errors and fix them yourself. It's good practice and it'll make you a better writer and a better editor. So let's begin. I'll read it out loud. DC police said in an arrest affidavit, kind of an arrest notice, or a report that 3 men had walked out of the restaurant and were headed for a parking lot across the street. One of the restaurant patrons told police, patrons meaning customers or clients or visitors or paying customer basically, told police that a gunman tried to steal a necklace from one of his friends. But the police narrative does not describe a robbery attempt. Police said video shows 4 men get out of a black BMW, which is a type of vehicle, a brand of a vehicle, quote, with weapons drawn, unquote, and aim at the 3 men who had just emerged from the restaurant. Now, unfortunately, there are a number of errors here, both grammatical and a few vocabulary errors. Now, can you guess on your own, as we've done before in other videos, before we begin solving the paragraph of this article together? Take a minute or two, pause this video. I won't continue but when you have it paused, but pause it now. Review the article below and decide what is wrong with it and how to fix it to be grammatically correct. All right. You likely, hopefully, paused the video, wrote down the paragraph, or just made your edits to it on a piece of paper or on your laptop, and we're going to continue. And there's actually, I didn't even catch this, but there's the one major error that I did not write down when I was going through the making of this video. I should have added it, but one of his friends. Okay, so remember our prepositions, one of. We don't say from one his friends. So I wish I could highlight this, but I think it's easier for me to just point out the letter of, OF. So I'm going to read this sentence out loud before we continue. I did not mention this error when I drafted or created this video, but I'm mentioning it now during our recording. One of the restaurant patrons told police that a gunman tried to steal a necklace from one of his friends. Okay, so that's the sentence. All right, so the rewritten article. And I did write one of his friends, but I did not highlight it in red. So the changes I made, hopefully you did the same, are in red, and how we're revising it correctly. So this is very important. We're going to start out with a quotation because we're quoting the police, all right? This is very important. We're quoting the police, so we need the quotation marks here before we even begin. Quote, DC police said in an arrest affidavit that, and it varies here. Some people say you can put a comma here. Some people say don't put a comma, just add the quotation. I didn't. I'm okay with it personally as a teacher, having you put a comma after that or after said even. I decided not to, but I'm okay with putting a comma here after said or here after that. But to continue, quote, 3 men had walked out of this restaurant. This is what the police saying again. And were headed to a parking lot across the street, unquote, or finish quote, period. One of the restaurant patrons told police that, quote, this is the restaurant patron who's being quoted. Even if we don't have their name, I think it should be quoted. So we have the quote, quotation marks. A gunman tried to steal a necklace from one of his friends, unquote, or finish quote. However, and this is key, we never really want to start a sentence with but. Okay, so, but the police narrative does not describe a robbery attempt. I don't really like that. You can use but in the middle or even towards the end of a sentence, but starting it capitalized at the beginning of a sentence, I never really liked it. There's a better word here. We can use however, comma, to pause. The police narrative does not describe a robbery attempt. Police said, comma, quote, video shows four men get out of a black BMW with weapons drawn. And I didn't say this or write this, but got out. We could say got out because we're talking about past tense, but this is kind of a present action now, or describing the action as it happens. So we could use present tense. So it could be get or got here. Get is probably preferable. Video shows four men get out of a black BMW with weapons drawn and aimed at the three men. So aimed, we had aim here, but it's aimed, all right, because we're talking about they aimed, they did the action, and then the police are reporting on it. So aimed at the three men who had just emerged, because we have emerged here, and it's got to agree with aimed. So aimed is past tense, aimed, ed, and emerged, which is written correctly, but we have ed to make it correct. And drawn is kind of a past participle of to draw. Okay, so got or get out, shows, since it shows, that's present. Get would agree with shows. But you have to have agreement across your sentence. So emerged has to go with aimed. And then if it's four men got out of a black BMW with weapons drawn, that's good. But video showed, we could also say showed. I don't want to get too much in the weeds here in terms of these changes, but make sure the present tense is congruent, or it's consistent, I should say. And then the past tense, if you're using that, make sure it's consistent throughout the quote. And then this is the key part though for these errors, for this rewritten article I did, is make sure you always have the quotation marks, and commas can be necessary here, and never start a sentence with but. I just don't like it. I think most teachers would agree with me. Don't start an English sentence with but. And also, if you're going to use but, make sure it has a comma. But however is a better way of describing the police narrative, not describing a robbery attempt, or not including it. So that's the key point. So to summarize the changes I made here, make sure to include all quotation marks in the article, even if you're quoting a group of people or a general person and not a specific person with their name, date of birth, etc. You can be more general with your quotes. As long as you're quoting from someone or a group or an agency or an organization, make sure you're using your quotation marks. Like I said, you should never begin a sentence with but, and it is important to include a comma after said before beginning a quote, as we did with police. Police said, comma, quote. Aim also had to be changed to aim due to the event happening in the past as reported or as cited. And again, I didn't write this, but it could be got out to describe it in the past, or we could say video showed, ed. Video showed four men got out instead of get out of the black BMW. Because we have weapons drawn, we have aimed, and then we have emerged. So it's got to be past tense or fully present. In this case, when we're talking about the police, we should say police said. If it's said, we know it's past tense. So that's the changes. A lot of changes. You'd be surprised how many errors you see even in a newspaper article. And this is an English language publication. Okay, so the editor, at least for this part of the article, did not do a great job. The writer did not check their writing. So you got to be a good writer, you got to be a good editor, you got to be thorough when you're proofreading. That's very important as you're learning the English language and spotting these English errors. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy doing this video as someone who reads a lot of newspapers and really likes just learning more about my own language and helping you learn the English language as your second or third or fourth language. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. I really hope you did. We'll have more videos in our Spot That English Error video in the future. Please like the video if you found it educational. For more information about our digital products and services, including lessons, classes, and courses to help you and other English students succeed, go to our website, www.englishfroma2z.com. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you again for another video soon. Bye-bye now.